Oh, hey! What's up, everybody? I hope everyone's doing well. Let me pop over here so y'all can see me. I'm super pumped for today's episode of CreaTips. I think this is gonna be a pretty good time. It's a little more casual than usual because we are in the middle, smack dab in the middle of offset week, which is a blast. For everybody who's rolling in here, thank you all for joining me. My name is VooDoo Val, and we're about to do a show, as I said, called CreaTips, where I take kind of the most asked questions and things from the community and put together a little hour show where we kind of dive into it a little more and share insight and do all kinds of cool, nifty things. No hat. You don't like my hat? You don't like my hat? I love my hat. This is my favorite hat. Love this topic. I'm pumped about it too. So today's episode, we are going to be going over how to remix old work into fresh content. And it's a solo stream today. Usually I have a guest on or I have like a featured industry pro with me. But since this is offset week, as I said, it's a little more laid back, a little more chillax. So I'm just going to be hanging out with you guys today. And what I'd like to do, if you folks are down, is get a little bit, I don't know, maybe a little vulnerable, you know, because this topic for the day, remixing old work into fresh content, is something that was born out of, I think, for probably a lot of you and for me, you know, and the reason why I chose it is because creating content can be really, really daunting. As a creative, especially if you're trying to keep your Instagram going, you're trying to post on Twitter or Threads or Facebook or whatever it is, updating your portfolio, kind of trying to keep other people interested in your work and your creative voice, staying relevant, all those sorts of things. And it can be really difficult because you know, you create work and it takes a lot of time, right? And sometimes if you're like me, you have experience, sometimes you put a lot of effort into certain pieces that you've done and you post them, and you don't really get like the impact that you were hoping for from them. So then it's like, okay, back to the drawing board. We're going to create something new and put it out there. And every time you do that, it's very time consuming. And one of the things that I have been really experimenting with lately as an illustrator is I've been trying to kind of revitalize or rejuvenate some of my old work, sharing things that I have shared before after a certain amount of time so that I have content that's flowing through my social media platforms, my social media profiles and things, where I can present an old concept in a brand new way, something interesting and relevant, and I don't have to create a whole new painting or whole new piece in order to share valuable content. So what we're going to be going over today with regards to that is, number one, how do we take an old piece of work and represent it? Do we just take that work and like repost it, or do we add something new to it? And I'm going to show you that new thing that you should add to your work when you repost. Another thing is gathering all of the unfinished creative work that you perhaps have that you have never posted, kind of injecting some of those old sketches and things into your work. If you're a graphic designer, old pieces or concept. If you're somebody who works a lot with typography, maybe some lockups or things that you were never quite satisfied with. Whatever it is that you do, I think that you can employ these tips and tricks. So we're going to dive into it, and I'm going to show you real quick. I'm actually going to head over to my Instagram and kind of give you guys a little overview of something that I have done for whatever reason, I can't log into my Instagram. That's weird. Well, I won't show you my Instagram then. That's fine. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some work that I have, which I'm going to revitalize, and then we will kind of dive into it. So I'm going to pop over here to my screen. And I've got just like a blank document here because I want to be able to collect some notes as we go, just to kind of keep our eye on the ball for what we are doing. So the first thing we're going to do is remix or refresh old work. So I'm just going to write that down. Remix / refresh old work. and that's kind of the theme for today is doing that. And how are we going to be doing that is we're going to take old work. I'm going to add us like a little bullet point here. We're going to take old work, add something to it, then present it in a new way. That is the deal. And I'm going to go ahead and bump this over so it looks like it's all one sentence. So that's kind of the main goal for today. Now, how are we going to be doing this, and what do you choose when it comes to refreshing old work like this? And when is the best place or the best time to post it? Because there's one, yeah, I feel like you could just snag a few old pieces and just start like, you know, flooding the timeline with it really. But I think a really great thing to do is to take a look at maybe current events, take a look at, if you're an illustrator like I am, maybe fan art that you've done, and see if there's any news being presented for those fandoms, so you can repost your fan art. You can take a look at any holidays or events coming up. Check out like what season is it? Is it autumn? Is it fall? Maybe if you're a graphic designer or a typography artist, maybe you use all of the work that you have posted previously that has like fall colors or winter colors or something, and create a fall post, a summer typography post, something that is that you can present with a new nugget of information, because that's what refreshes it and remixes it, right? If you're a hand letterer and you decide that you want to take some of your old work and post it for the summer, choose all of the summery color things and just say, this is a throwback to all of my summer colored typography pieces, and then make a nice carousel post for yourself. Something like that, you know, make it a little bit relevant, add a little bit of new information to it, and post that. Jeff, I see Jeff coming in. Hello, Jeff. It's good to see you. Umacorn, good to see you. Cody Bear, the one and only, is in the chat, and I see Gareth Williams. Nils, hello from Thailand. Long time no see. Love the new features, especially 3D engine in Illustrator. Nils, welcome in. It's good to have you back, sir. Let's see. Who else do I see? I see Clever Devlin and Oliver. It's always great to have you guys. Katarina, it's good to see you. Thank you all for filing in. Okay, so we're going to be refreshing old work the way that I just sort of described. We're going to take old work, add something to it, and then present it in a new way. I'm also going to add a little bullet point that just says, make it relevant. Make it relevant. How, I'm going to say something like, how can you make it important to be posting? Like, how can you make it make the old work that you're posting relevant? So let's see, how does this, let's say, this new post differ from the last time you shared it? That's what we're gonna say, because I feel like that really hits home. It's like, what does this actually add compared to the last time you posted it? Now, I will say you don't really have to hold yourself super constrained to this concept, right? Because to be perfectly honest, as you post older work, sometimes the value is just that people haven't seen it in a long time. So don't feel like you have to put so much extra work into this that it becomes a tedious task, because the point of doing this is so that you can have fresh new content on the timeline and share fresh new content with people who follow your work without spending the time to create all of these, you know, gigantic brand new pieces. Another thing is setting goals for yourself to finish work you haven't finished before. Going through older folders of sketches or concepts or old animations you never finished, whatever it is that you've got laying around. I know I have tons of stuff laying around that I have yet to complete. So I'm going to add that as well, because we're going to be doing a little bit of that today. So I'm going to say set goals for yourself to finish unfinished work. exclamation point. So there's just some notes here that we can kind of return to as we go. But I'm going to put together an actual post today. We're going to take a look at some of my either unfinished work or work which I have yet to post and have not shared with the world at all, so that I can kind of remix and do something that's relevant for today. So one thing that happened today is a brand new trailer was dropped for Star Wars Ahsoka. So Ahsoka, the TV show, is coming out in August, which I'm very excited about. And I realized that I'd like to make a post that is relevant to that, but I don't have time to make a brand new illustration today because that takes a lot of time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through, I've scoured my my Fresco files, and I found a bunch of unfinished Star Wars Ahsoka themed work that I'm going to create a carousel post with today for social media, because I think that's something that will gain a lot of traction because it's very relevant, and it also gives me an opportunity to add some things to it which people haven't seen. So I'm going to scroll through here and show you folks what I've got. So I have this painting that I started and never finished of Commander Wolf. If there's any Rebels fans in the chat, if there's any Clone fans in the chat, this is my rendition of quite a young looking Wolf. He looks very handsome. This is probably towards the beginning of his military career, even though he does have the eye scar. But I really liked it, and I just never did anything with it. I thought it was too unfinished. I didn't have the time to focus on completing it, so it just has been sitting in my iPad files forever, and I've done nothing with it. I did, however, post my human Ahsoka Tano, which I had a lot of fun with, and I wanted to kind of include this because, you know, it would be a post kind of commemorating the fact that we have the new Ahsoka trailer today, which would be cool. So I'm definitely going to feature my human Ahsoka. I also have an unfinished painting of Harrison Dula, which I did, and I kind of posted the sketch and then never ever came back to it because I wanted to do more and didn't have the time, and then I forgot about it. I also have, which I don't believe I've ever posted this, but I started this illustration a while back of the clone helmet that is decorated in honor of Ahsoka Tano and her Togruta markings for her. Almost lost my hat. Her Togruta markings for her on her head. And then I also have, because Grand Admiral Thrawn is coming to live action, I have this kind of painting that I have done of Grand Admiral Thrawn. Yes, Ahsoka is going to be so cool. So I've got all these pieces, and I'd like to do something with them. They're all just kind of odds and ends things, but I realized that if I use them to supplement some cool pieces, it doesn't really matter if they're finished or not. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to go through and I'm going to prep these files and create a library of pieces which I can use in Adobe Express to make my carousel post, which I can also kind of schedule for social media, which I'm pumped about. Afroja, welcome in. Daniel, yes, may the force be with you, sir. This is the way. So I'm gonna go ahead and I think this is already isolated, honestly, but the thing that I'm worried about is there's like these strange little pokey areas that peek through. So I'm just gonna clean this up. I'm not gonna spend too much time on it, but I'd like to come in with my lasso tool, and I am just going to kind of select the shape of him. I don't think I really need to select that part too much. And just make sure that there's no open holes. And I'm gonna paint bucket in with like this dark color to make it even darker. And deselect, just so that it's like totally it's not transparent in places. And I don't believe that his head is transparent, because you can see like that's where the brunt of my effort for this really went into his face right there. Being in and around freelancing lately, trying to keep up all the fun things going on in the world with 3D AI LinkedIn. What would be the most effective way getting hired again? Are you asking me like a great way to find a creative job or to get hired? I think I've heard a lot of cool things about hunting for jobs on LinkedIn, but personally, the way that I hunt for work and things is doing a little bit of networking. I like to involve myself in certain topics and things online, things that I really resonate with. I will post a personal project sometimes if I feel that I haven't been approached for a lot of work that I'm really wanting to do. And then I like to create posts to allow people or to get people interested in and to notify them that I'm looking for work. These things can be a little bit difficult sometimes, especially if you're hunting for full-time work at the moment. I am lucky enough that I have a full-time or a client list that provides me with full-time work, so I haven't had to hunt for like commissions and contracts a lot in the last few years. But when I do look for work, I typically immerse myself in the areas of the industry that are typically hunting for people that do what I want to do, and put my work in front of them. So I would say ask yourself, you know, what kind of work are you looking for? Where are those people kind of existing, and follow that trail. If I knew some more specifics about the kind of work you were hunting for, then maybe I could give you more solid advice. But let us know. All right. So I have got my Commander Wolf. He's looking very cool, very mysterious. I think I'm going to add a clipping mask real quick, because what I want to do is add a tiny bit more texture to him. In general, and thank you, I'm interested in full-time, remote, or contract full-time. You can also check out a lot of the, I haven't myself used the Behance job listings, to be perfectly honest, so I don't know if that would be right for you or not. I can't claim to have had much experience with it, but I will say I've heard other people getting jobs with it, so that could be an avenue that I would choose. But I think the way that I've had like totally the most luck finding work over the years really has been deciding the kind of work that I wanted to do, doing a personal project that showcases my ability to do that work, and then putting it in front of people with posts that say, you know, I'm hunting for work, here's some things that I have done. Not to specific people really. I haven't really done a lot of like the cold calling kind of stuff, but like on social media in general. Another thing that you could do if you know, maybe you don't have a large social media following, and so maybe if you put the word out there, maybe a lot of people don't see it. A great thing to do is there's a lot of creatives who have opportunities for like live portfolio reviews and things, or advice on projects, and getting involved in communities that would do live portfolio reviews, where more people can see your work and you can get feedback from a creative mentor as far as what you could improve in your portfolio to work towards getting the kind of work you're hunting for, could also be really a really great thing. For me, simply live streaming my personal projects has got me the most work. Yeah, that as well. It's just like doing the personal projects and putting it out there. And I would say that, yeah, putting it out there also for me has been streaming, as Cody says, for her. Like live streaming my work has gotten me a tremendous amount of good business, both here and outside of outside just on my own personal channels and things. So also a pretty good idea if live streaming is something that strikes your fancy. Okay, so that's good enough for me. I just wanted a little bit more atmosphere on this. Nothing too fancy. It just, you know, throw in some values. And I'm going to go ahead and merge this. I'm going to call this Wolf. And then I'm going to actually throw this into a library. So this is like my old work remix library, because I'm gonna drag this over to not Behance, Adobe Express pretty soon to kind of work around with it, and I want it to be accessible to me within that app. So I'm gonna come over to Ahsoka Tano. Now the Ahsoka Tano one is pretty darn cool, and I don't know if I really want to change it up too much, to be perfectly honest. What I think I might do is I am just going to duplicate this. I do have other versions of this image saved, so if anyone is gasping at my merging of layers, please know that I do have other layers or other versions saved. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a version of this. Let's call this Tano. I'm just going to, in caps, I'm just going to call this Tano and throw her in there. And then if I can, whoa! That has like from my, you can kind of see it a little bit from my fresco file. I had pieces surrounding it off canvas for like reference images for like if you can make out like the hair and stuff. And it kind of threw all of that in there. And I don't really know why it chose to do that. But I'm gonna, let's see if I can just do this. If I can select that and duplicate just that. I've never had that do that before, but maybe because a lot of these were started in Fresco. There we go. A lot of these were started in Fresco, so technically they do have like peripheral files kind of hovering around. But yeah, I'm going to select her as well, just real quick, so that I can have a version of her without a background. Because I do want to have the option as I make my new carousel post to maybe do something a little bit fancy with the layout instead of just having like the character front and center. Maybe I want to have her off to the side and a little more shrouded in the design itself, and then I can bring her more into the forefront, like kind of like a little tease of detail, I would say, that can show people maybe on the top of the carousel post, like, you know, this is going to be a post about, you know, Star Wars, about Ahsoka, about all the news, yada yada, and they might see that like overlay of her in the background and be like, oh, this could be kind of an interesting piece. I might check this out. All right, and I'm gonna duplicate that, and I'm gonna say, I'm gonna call this one Tano background. And let's hide this. Yeah, that's good. That's good enough for me. And I'm gonna throw that into my library. Boom. So now I've got a Commander Wolf, I've got a human Ahsoka Tano to use in our posts. And I'm also going to come through, I don't think I'm going to change up the Hera Syndulla because a lot of her, like the character comes to the very edge of the canvas here. So I'm going to leave that one. So I'm just going to duplicate this and merge it. I'm going to call this Hera. And we're going to drag this over into my library, getting it all prepped and nice for Adobe Express. It really does look like her. Do you have a Commander Cody helmet? I don't think so. Hold on, let me. I don't know if I actually did. I started one. I started one in black and white. And then I was going to fix it or finish it. But the only helmet that I have right now is the helmet that was decorated in Ahsoka's markings. So I'll be using this one, and if CJ would like a Commander Cody helmet, I will definitely I would definitely make a Commander Cody helmet. Already did both on the outside of Behance. Awesome, Nils. All right. Okay, and this one is already, like, this is already isolated. And you can see, like, if I zoom in here, it's not totally finished. It's still got, like, a lot of the lines and stuff, but it has enough texture and stuff where I think if I make it small in a post, it's not really going to matter if it's unfinished. So I'm going to call this clone. Let's throw the clone helmet in there. I'm and I have my reference from the file, I don't know why it shows my the other peripheral stuff. I feel like it's never done that, but perhaps that's an update. Perhaps that's, you know, kind of a new thing since we did get new Photoshop stuff recently. So I'm going to duplicate. But it's also kind of cool because I feel like when I bring files from Fresco into Photoshop, when I'm streaming here for you guys, a lot of you don't really get to see, like, I don't just sit in Fresco and like start with nothing to look at, you know, like I'll start from scratch, but I have like my entire canvas, all this space, like right here, all this outside space in my Fresco files is like a collage of anatomy reference, any reference images if I'm painting a specific object, kind of like this, like I had images of the helmets up there. Collages of different images that are using color the way that I want to use color in that piece, inspirational pieces that have like an atmosphere or a mood included in them that I want to portray in my piece. So that's the reality, I think, of that, rather than just like the final pieces you see. So you should know that. And then also, I have my Thrawn, and the Thrawn is definitely going to not be, I'm not going to cut him out. So that Thrawn is just gonna, let's just call it Thrawn, and I'm going to throw the Thrawn piece in here, if it'll go. There we go. So we got Commander Wolf, Thrawn, a couple of Ahsokas, Hera Syndulla, and a clone helmet. I'm loving it. And then we're going to go over to Adobe Express now and work on kind of a carousel post. And if we have time, because I think we've got about 20-ish more minutes before we head out, maybe 25 minutes, we will also get into doing a little bit of revitalizing pieces that I just never finished and never posted anything for. Because I also found, when I was going through my old work in preparation for this episode, I found this ray gun, which I don't know why I never finished this. I have no idea why. I think this is such a cool thing, and it must have been, I had this, like, I got on this kick where I was looking up, like, old 70s, like 60s, 70s visuals for, like, what space travel and space technology and stuff looked like in cinema. You know, like early cinema of, like, you know, Martians and, you know, stuff. And it usually was like stuff like this, where it was like strange ray guns or things like that. And then I got on the kick of like being really interested in other artistic renditions of what that style kind of maintained. And so I wanted to try my hand at it, and I thought that I would eventually do like a series, but I never did. So one of the things we'll also do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to make a plan for myself for how I will finish this and how I will add more to the series by using this image to build out like a mock-up of what a possible project can look like. Because if I build myself a mock-up with an unfinished piece, I personally will have the desire to finish it. Whereas if it's just a sketch that's sitting someplace out of sight, out of mind in a folder or something, I'll never return to it. So that's kind of how I keep myself motivated. And I would love to hear if anybody in chat has methods of like keeping themselves motivated, keeping themselves accountable, finishing their work. I would love to hear what you do. But for now, I'm going to pop over to the Adobe Express. And we are going to head into this. So hold on. You know what? I might jump into Adobe Express Beta. We could, I'm not going to be doing any video editing or anything though, so I'm just going to use the regular version here. If you folks would like to join the beta, however, if you go to Adobe Express or express.adobe.com, you will actually be prompted if you want to check out the beta. And I am just going to come over into posts if I want to do like a quick custom size post. I kind of want to do an Instagram post just so that it's like a Instagram carousel, so I can kind of start this from scratch. And I should be able to access my libraries, which, you know what, I might actually jump into the beta. One second, one moment. Because I feel like that would be a little more prudent so that you guys can check it out, because you guys can get a hold of the beta as well. So I'm gonna actually, let's do it in the Adobe Express Beta. So I'm gonna go to Instagram square posts because the square posts are what I'd like to use for this project. So I'm just gonna, I think I'm gonna create from scratch. I think we'll go for create from scratch. I typically like to create from scratch, to be perfectly honest, because I have a lot of my own branding and things available to me with the libraries and things that I like to use for my own look of my own Instagram. So I like to be able to just use my own stuff. However, if you guys wanted to check out templates, I do highly recommend it because there are a lot of really, really, really great things that you can snag from here and employ for your own purposes. This one actually is pretty cool. Maybe we're not starting from scratch. Maybe we're using templates because there are some here that are really cool. This one would be neat to do if I want to just be like, Thrawn's coming to live action. Maybe we'll do that. We're gonna do that. Okay, so I'm going to, we want to change the colors. I'm gonna change this to like a, I want to change it to like a blue. I'm gonna go into more colors. Yeah, like this kind of blue. Let me highlight it. Because Thrawn is blue, dubba dee, dubba die. And I think that if all of the text in the back is blue, that would be really good. So let me go ahead, highlight all this. And we'll change these colors. I could actually be changing this to, let me make my own, because I feel like I'm going to change all these and then have to go all the way back down, when I could just change this to blue and say Thrawn, make it a little larger, and then duplicate my own. Yeah, we can put that like right there. I think I'm gonna like kind of offset it just a little bit, you know, like that sort of thing. And then I will duplicate and throw it right in there, make sure it lines up, and I will just keep doing that because I think that'll look pretty cool. And then I'm going to throw that image, that painting that we have for Thrawn where this is, and kind of do like a little announcement thing. I think that'll be really cool. Let's throw that right there, and one more for good measure, just to kind of hang off the edge here, because that is a pretty cool concept. I feel like that works really well. That's kind of neat. That's good enough for me. All right, now let's throw in our own images, shall we? I do like this little urban fashion thing happening right here. I also like that this is like kind of a shape unto itself, which is kind of neat. And so I think what I'm going to do is actually extend that and kind of use what this template has to offer me here as far as this, but our Thrawn piece is a little more involved as far as the width of our initial piece. So let's go ahead and move that there. And I'm actually going to put this on the very edge, like just kind of sandwiched. And I'm gonna delete that and open this, and I'm gonna go ahead and throw our image in. So I'm going to come to, I think I can just go into my stuff and go into brands and libraries, and I should be able to, I think I called that old work remix. Yes, indeed. And let's open this up and snag this Thrawn. I'm going to have to change the color of this blue, I think. I think it definitely needs to be a different blue. But let's see how that looks. That's cool, but I might want to hang this off the edge. That's kind of cool. I might bring this in. I don't know what I will say here or if I will use this. Let's go ahead and drag this up here, and we'll drag the 20% off. I don't sell this print, but I'll leave that there just so there's like something there, almost like it's a sticker. So that it's like, I don't know, together there, and I know I want to put something there, and I'm also going to group that so I can just kind of throw that over here. So I'm not, it looks weird with the urban fashion there, but you know, it's definitely giving sort of the vibes that I want it to give. Let's go ahead and try, I'm gonna select all of these. I'm just holding shift to select them all. Let's go ahead and try giving this more of a purple hue. A dark purple hue. Kind of interesting. It might behoove us to do something that is perhaps a little more closely related to our piece here. So maybe if I snag some of this purple, something like that. I like that. Let's come in and take a closer peek at our background here. Do we actually have a background color? I don't think we do. Okay, background color up here. Let's go ahead and sample a background color from our piece as well. Something light blue, maybe? No, I want something dark. Let's do something dark. Let's like grab the darkness of his hair. Could be interesting. Starting to like that. Okay, there's like a little post. That could be interesting. Let's move on. Let's go to another page and try something else. I don't know if I want it really to look that trendy, you know, but it's kind of a cool idea. Let's go ahead. Hey, Omicorn. Let's go ahead and snag another one. I feel like I want to use this Commander Wolf. So let's snag him. And he's transparent. So we can, whoa. We can actually snag him and throw him like right here. I think that looks cool. You know, like he's kind of hanging off the edge right there. So I can put some text here. I'm gonna actually go into my libraries, and I'm gonna type in VooDoo branding because this has a lot of my own branding stuff in it, and I'm gonna snag some like textures and things that I really like. This orange one could be cool because I'm using a lot of orange, interesting orange colors in this piece, though it might be a little too crazy. But let's go ahead, let's reorganize that and throw that back here. That might not actually look that bad. Kind of unplanned, but I like it. We could rotate that so that it's a little darker on the bottom. I like that. That could be cool. Boom. And then let's add some kind of placeholder text. We can say, we'll add his name, and we will select my text that I prefer, because I believe I have my yeah, I have my fonts in here. I might not have uploaded them, so this is fine. This will be fine for now. I feel like we should do you know, using kind of a font that is a little bit brighter, because everything is kind of dark at the moment, and kind of overhang it onto him, which would be really cool. So let's go for one of my brand colors. That's not bright enough for me, I don't think. So I wonder if we could try like, That's a little darker. Maybe we could try like a custom color and just kind of bump it up even brighter, just to kind of, you know, like that. I feel like that is cool. And what we could also do is duplicate it just to be a little slightly fancier. We could duplicate that and offset it and just make it a different color. I like to do this sort of thing. I don't know if other people are fond of it, but I really like it. So let's snag this one and let's make it a new color real quick. Maybe my green color or the purple color. Let's do the purple color. The purple color is kind of cool. All right. And I'm just kind of situating it with my my arrows. Adiyemi, hello. Welcome in. It's good to see you. We are messing around with some designs today. I'm kind of remixing and refreshing some old pieces of mine, which I haven't really done anything with them, but they're like things that I love that I've made or wish that I had finished before, as far as my illustrations. And so we are kind of refreshing them. We've gone through and kind of cleaned them up in Photoshop, and now we are creating some posts that would eventually become like a carousel post of some sort for social media. Okay, let's come back to my stuff. Let me snag some of these shapes that I've got going on here. Just to add a little more something in the back. I like that. Just kind of a splash of my brand colors a little bit that just make it like, so it's a little broken up back there, something a little interesting. We can also, we could put like a page break or something back there, but I don't know. Oh, we could straight up throw this in there. I really like these rings that I use. And somebody asked me before, like, what is the purpose of them? I could not tell you. I honestly could not. I couldn't tell you what their purpose is or why they're important to me, but I just think it looks really, really cool. I just think it looks neat. And sometimes I think that's enough, you know? We could do something like that. I could throw, you know, my logo back there as well if I wanted to. I like to be a little bit eclectic, I'll admit, with my work. I do typically have like just like it's kind of like a giant concoction of various elements in a lot of my social media posts, but you know, that is just how I like to do things. I might make this smaller. I think it does maybe need to be smaller. Let me pull that down. Or I could use the darker one. Let's do... Yeah, let's use the darker one. I feel like using the darker one would be better. I'm gonna go ahead and delete that one and I'll grab like the gray, because there's some gray. And we'll leave it tiny and just throw it back there. Maybe I'll put some text. I don't know. I'm just throwing it down. I feel like that's the best thing to do, especially when you're doing something like this. Just like throwing something down on the canvas. I can return to it later when I have copy or whatever it is I want to add. In beta, I do not have the eyedropper to change color. Anyone have the same problem? And you're working in the Express Beta, Daniel? Are you indeed? Because I do have the dropper for sure. I'm not sure why it wouldn't show it for you unless it is something perhaps you could drop us a note about it, just so that we can look into that and make sure that it's something that if it's an error of some kind, we can get it fixed up and all that good stuff. So let us know. And is it the eyedropper to change color where exactly? because I have used the eyedropper to change a few different elements, and I just want to make sure that I'm giving you the right information. Maybe I was using the eyedropper for not the same feature you're trying to use it for. I'm gonna come back and go back to old work, and we are gonna do, let's do the Ahsoka. Let's do the Ahsoka. I'm gonna throw her in here on the side. Kind of place her in there. I like it a lot, and I think that, you know, kind of taking inspiration from a little bit of the elements that are in the Thrawn one, I think I'd like to have this kind of situated right there. So she's over here on the side, right? And then something that would be neat to do is if I come in here to elements, let's snag like a, let's snag a shape. Let's grab a rectangle, just a straight up rectangle. And let's kind of increase this to the size here of the, like the height and not so much the width, but mostly the height of that. And let's just pull that over like that, you know, so it kind of blocks her a little bit. And let's change the background color to something that is a little more blue. Or maybe we don't do blue. Maybe we do orange. No, let's do blue because I cut her out a little bit haphazardly, so I think it should be like this blue color. And then maybe we make this bar. Let's make the fill of this bar something that is like more closely related to like the orange. Maybe even more orange. A little warmer. Give me like that spot of brightness on her nose. Yeah, something like really warm. I think that could be pretty cool. And then we could do like sort of that circular burst or maybe a star. Ahsoka has like diamond shapes, a lot of diamond shapes in her, so it, her like face paint and stuff. So let's do like diamonds. Yeah. And let's throw that right there because that kind of resembles her. And let's go ahead, let's take that border off. No border. Let's make the diamond itself, not the orange or the blue. Let's make it like this bright cream color of like the diamond that I sort of put it on here, and we can come into custom. Let's make it a little more bright and saturated. Should we? We should. Maybe something like that. I just don't want it to vibrate too much on the back end there, like with the blue, but we can come back and deal with that later. So this is kind of cool. I like this pretty well. And let's go ahead and duplicate that and maybe make it smaller and throw another one down here. So now we have like, for those of you, does everybody know what Ahsoka looks like? I'm gonna pull up an image real quick. The live action Ahsoka is played by Rosario Dawson, and she's incredible. I think Rosario Dawson is like the coolest ever. But just so that everybody can see, I'm gonna save this image, and I'm just gonna I'll throw this in the Photoshop real quick and just pull it over. Can I? Hello? Yeah. So this is Ahsoka. Ooh, that's Ahsoka. So she has like these, that you see that like design on her forehead, and then these formations here are like diamonds, which is basically what's on the helmet here that was like painted in her honor. So that's kind of what I'm going for, is like just something that echoes or is like reminiscent of that a little bit. So that could be cool. We could do something like that. We could also duplicate this one and kind of make it even smaller and like throw some kind of, maybe it's a logo like down there in the corner. So that's another idea for a post. We've got a fashion urban fashion Thrawn post, which we will change. We've got a wolf post, which we will change. We've got our Ahsoka post, which we will add stuff to. I will probably keep them all looking exactly like this, though. I was worried about them looking like too trendy, but I kind of like that they all look like influencer posts, but for my favorite Star Wars characters. I think that's kind of neat. Hello, Lisa. Welcome in. It's good to see you. We got about 5 minutes left here, and I don't know that we will have like tons and tons of time to go and do a little bit more with that ray gun that I wanted, but I think that this is decent. Like I didn't have to do really any painting aside from like kind of darkening the bottom of Commander Wolf's plastoid armor here, but I just took work that I had never finished. So this, you know, the painting for Wolf isn't done, and that's why I was too, like, I posted a work in progress, but I was too afraid to post him again or do anything, so I was like, nobody's gonna want to look at a piece of art that's not finished. But now he looks like he's got a little home to live in right here, so I'll put that in there. I posted this once, but I wanted to post it again, and it's been forever since I've posted the portrait or profile of Thrawn I did, so it's a nice way to kind of reinvigorate that. In our last 5 minutes, I kind of do want to create our Harris and Dula, though, because, you know, I did want to, like, make sure that everybody got their screen time. So maybe we'll do this one where it's, like, full, you know, full screen. And to be honest, she's got, like, a lot of swirling vibes in her look, you know, so I feel like I could just use some of my own branding stuff and like maybe slide this in here, you know, just something that kind of brightens it up. Maybe I'll rotate it around and use like a I'm thinking maybe the duotone kind of thing. I don't know. I'm not sure. Let me rotate this back around. Try not to waste too much time, but maybe I don't want to add that. I think I have one that's just for a corner. Yeah, I have one that's just for a corner. So we could do that. How am I doing on time? Am I gonna get cut off? I hope not. No, we got like 3 minutes left. So this is not the end of the Adobe day, by the way. There will be another stream coming up after me. So if you guys want to stick around, we'll have another community stream right after this from 1 to 2. If you folks are interested in sticking around to check it out. I am, let's see. I'll throw this right here. Oh, yeah. That kind of like cups the side of her face nice. Very nice, very nice. Let's go. I don't know why I said it like that just now. I never talk like that. But let's go ahead and do like that. And then the last thing we will do is let's throw an effect on it. Let's throw that duotone vibe. Let's do like a custom duotone. Let's grab my colors. We'll do like the green. No, let's do like dark like this, and let's highlight with that. Maybe, I don't know. That could be cool. It could be interesting. Just something that matches a little bit, and we could throw some designs there. You know, we could throw some text in there. But yeah, we created like four posts, which could be interesting for carousel posts. That is all the time I have with you guys today, though, unfortunately. I had a blast. I hope that you have drawn some inspiration from this session of remixing old work. I hope you enjoyed the tips and tricks that we kind of went over at the beginning. And I'm going to have to take off, but please stick around because the day is not over, and I will see you guys another time on the other side of the rainbow. That sounded weird. Sorry. I'll see you guys next time. Adios, everybody.